The lobby of the Ardenvale Grand smelled the way expensive places always smell, like cut flowers and climate control, and the faint suggestion that you were expected, if you were expected at all. Jonah Reese noticed the man ahead of him first because of the luggage. Not the amount of it, just one slim leather carry-on, the kind that costs more than a plane ticket, but the way it sat at the man's feet, perfectly still, as if it had been placed there with intention. The man himself was the same way. Broad-shouldered, 60s-ish dark suit with no tie, silver at his temples. He stood at the concierge desk the way people stand when they are used to being received, not processed. Jonah shifted his laptop bag on his shoulder and waited. He had a 7 a.m. pitch in the Whitmore room and a confirmed reservation, and still, standing in the marble atrium of this particular hotel, he felt the old familiar tightening, the low-grade scan of the room, the quiet calculation of whether he belonged. He watched the man at the desk. "I'm sorry," said the concierge, a woman in a burgundy blazer, her name tag reading Petra, her tone doing the thing tones sometimes do, that particular softening that is not softness at all, but the members' lounge has a confirmed guest policy. "I don't see a reservation under that name." "Marcus Delworth," the man said again. He had not raised his voice. He had not shifted his weight. "DELLWRTH. Petra's fingers moved across her keyboard with the brisk authority of someone who has already decided the answer. "I'm showing nothing. If you'd like to wait for our service coordinator, there's a seating area near the side entrance. She can help sort out any." The side entrance. It wasn't a question. The man said it the way you repeat something back when you want the other person to hear what they just said. Petra's chin lifted a fraction. "It's just through, though." "I understand where it is." He reached into the inside pocket of his jacket and set a keycard on the counter. Not slapped it, not dropped it. Set it, the way you set something down when you have all the time in the world and none of it to waste. "I'd like to use the lounge." The keycard was matte black. Jonah, 3 feet back, could not read what was printed on it, but he saw the way Petra looked at it, one beat too long, then away, as if she had decided the looking was a concession she wasn't prepared to make. "That style of card was issued to vendors and contractors during our 2019 renovation," she said. "If you were affiliated with the project, I'd be happy to connect you with our facilities team." Something moved across the man's face. Not anger. Jonah recognized it because he had felt it himself, the particular weariness of a person who has been through this door before, in different lobbies, in different cities, with different names on the same blazer. The weariness of deciding, again, how to answer a room that has already decided who you are. He answered it the same way he'd answered everything else, quietly. "May I ask," he said, "what the policy is for guests who hold a platinum membership?" Petra's posture did not change, but something behind her eyes recalibrated. "Platinum membership requires verification through our reservation system, and without a name in the—" "Of course." He reached into his jacket again, this time for a phone. He did not look at Petra when he said, "I'm going to make one call. I hope you don't mind." He called, he said 4 words, "Lobby now if you can." Then he put the phone away and waited. Petra turned to the keyboard. A couple near the fireplace had gone quiet. The bellman by the elevator was studying the middle distance very carefully. Jonah stood where he was, not sure why he hadn't moved, only sure that he wasn't going to. The man, Marcus, stood with his hands at his sides and his eyes level, and his face composed into something that was not quite patience and not quite endurance, but some third thing that lived between them. A quality Jonah could not name but recognized as the hardest thing in the room. "Sir," Petra said, with a brightness that was not warmth, "I really think our service coordinator can assist you more efficiently than—" "I'll wait here, thank you." The elevator opened. The woman who stepped out was in motion before the doors finished parting, mid-50s, dark blazer, tablet under one arm, reading the lobby the way people read rooms when things are already in motion, and they need to know the shape of the situation fast. She found Marcus in under 2 seconds. Mr. Delworth. She was already beside him, and something in the way she said his name made the lobby rearrange itself. Not loudly, just the subtle tectonic shift of a room understanding it has misread the terrain. I'm so sorry. I came as soon as I could. Kareen, his voice warmed briefly. I wasn't trying to make trouble. You never do. She turned toward the desk. Her voice did not harden, it simply clarified, the way water clarifies when you let the silt settle. Petra, this is Marcus Delworth. He is the founder and majority owner of the Ardenvale Hotel Group. He owns this building. The silence that followed was not dramatic. It was the silence of a lobby that has stopped pretending it isn't listening. Petra's hand, halfway to the keyboard, did not complete its journey. From the back office, a door opened. The general manager, a tall man named Bryce Calloway, who had worked for Ardenvale for 11 years and knew, to the cent, who signed the checks that made those 11 years possible, appeared in the doorway. He took in the tableau in one sweep and went pale in the particular way of a person who has just understood the full scope of what they're looking at. Mr. Delworth, he crossed the lobby in 7 steps. I please let me. Bryce, Marcus's tone remained level, not cold, not magnanimous, just honest. I'd like to use the lounge, and I think we should talk. They talked. Not in the lobby. In the manager's office with Kareen present, where the conversation was measured and direct and not unkind. Marcus did not perform outrage. He said what he had experienced plainly, and then he said what he expected to happen, and then he waited. What happened? Petra Holt was suspended from her shift pending a formal review by the group's human resources director, who was on a video call from the regional office within the hour. The GM issued a written apology, not a templated one, a specific one, describing the specific failure, delivered to Marcus in the lounge before his tea had cooled. The Ardenvale Group's board, when informed that afternoon, directed that bias awareness training be implemented as mandatory and recurrent across all 14 properties, beginning with the Grand. The direction came in writing, with a timeline attached, because that is what accountability looks like when it is institutional rather than theatrical. None of this was violent. None of it was cruel. It was the machinery of a well-run organization doing what well-run organizations are capable of doing when the person at the top decides that something must be corrected. Jonah had not moved until Marcus walked past him toward the elevator. He had watched the whole thing the way you watch something you are not sure you have the right to witness, quietly, from the outside, not recording, not performing reaction, just seeing it. The steadiness of the man at the desk, the forward call, the way he had said, I'll wait here, thank you, without a tremor of doubt that waiting was his right. Marcus slowed beside him. You've been standing there a while, he said, not unkindly. Jonah found his voice. I had a front row seat to something. The older man looked at him for a moment, the laptop bag, the lanyard tucked into the front pocket, the too early hour for anyone without a meeting. Pitch. 7 a.m. Whitmore Room. Marcus nodded, something settling in his expression. He reached into his jacket, the same unhurried motion as before, and produced a business card. When it goes well, he said, and it will, give me a call. He pressed the card into Jonah's hand and continued toward the elevator. Jonah looked down at the card. Marcus Delworth, Ardenvale Hotel Group. The title beneath it was 3 words, founder, chairman, owner. He stood in the marble atrium with its cut flowers and its climate control, and he thought about the man who had stood at that desk with a keycard they wouldn't read, and a name they wouldn't find, and 4 words he'd said into a phone, and had never once stopped standing like he belonged, because he knew, with a certainty that did not require their permission, that he did. The bellman caught Jonah's eye across the lobby and gave him a small, slow nod. Jonah picked up his bag and walked toward the Whitmore Room. He was ready.